The invasion of England by the Normans was pretty GigaChad on William the Bastard's part. The historical effects his invasion had would forever alter European and in fact world history. That being said, what if William was not just a GigaChad but in fact was an Omega GigaChad and pulled off some truly crazy maneuvers? What if William the Conqueror were able to conquer England, keep his succession safe, and simultaneously rule vast continental holdings all within his own lifetime? It might seem difficult to pull off since William is already pretty old, but in today's video I'll be showing you how to play the ultimate Omega GigaChad William the Conqueror and what it'll look like for his heir. Let's get into it. William is an extremely talented martial character, much like both of his opponents, the two heralds. He also starts with a lot of money and has lots of kids for alliances. He's basically the most powerful of any of the kings vying for control of England. Our opening moves are actually composed of mostly waiting. We're going to grab the duty focus and then adjust our contract with the King of France to become steward. At the same time, we have to remove an obstacle from the equation. That means murder. In this case, it'll be Harald over in Norway that we're removing. His death won't end the war against England, but it will make him much weaker. Once we've picked our focus and started the murder plot, we use most of our money to get agents against Harald. Then we use whatever's left to get mangonels and lightfootmen. We also need to get our 3 daughters married off for alliances. They don't matter all that much, the alliances I mean, of course children matter. So we get them married to whoever has the strongest army. We don't really need these alliances for the war against England, but we do need them for stuff later. Now we sit and wait for our first perk. That's right, our first act in this war is to wait around and let the heralds fight it out, reducing both their army counts. We're looking to get meritocracy, which might seem strange, but the plan is to claim the throne of France before we win the war against England and become independent. The only downfall for this strategy is if Norway beats England before we can beat England. Killing Harald should stop that from happening, but nothing is certain. I'd recommend restarting if that does happen. While waiting for the Harald murder plot to go through, we mostly just sit around waiting. Make sure to educate your son, William the Red, since he's the one we're hoping to have as heir. He has good stats and good traits, as well as historically being the one to actually rule England after his father. Your other sons, Robert and Richard, we're going to hope end up dying on their own, but that's not necessarily guaranteed, so we may end up disinheriting them or making them take the vows. Best case scenario, both get killed as knights against England. Beyond that, simply wait. Don't forget to split your special troop stack so it doesn't lose supplies. If you get any events that give stewardship perk progress, take it 100% of the time, because the faster we can get meritocracy and begin claiming France's throne, the faster we can go defeat England. Once you've got the perk, begin claiming the throne, and depending on how long it takes to claim, we can begin our England campaign. Also, change from being steward to being spy master, so we have the best possible chance of getting the throne. I like to start the campaign once there's about a year left in the scheme. In my game's case, I was able to get enough agents to get a 2-year scheme going, so I waited 1 year and then went into England. Because Harold has been fighting Harald for several years at this point, he stands no chance. Along with that, we can call in our allies through our daughters to ensure complete victory against him. We do have to be careful about winning too fast. We cannot win this war before getting our claim to France's throne. Once the throne has been claimed though, push through and win England. Congratulations, you're now William the Conqueror, King of England, and pretender to the French throne. We have some housekeeping to do first though. The CB William gets against Harold is special in that it actually takes the domain of the majority of southern England for William himself, giving us a huge 22 domain size. We're not going to give these away yet though, since we need to engage in a temporary form of absolutism for the time being. Raise your crown authority to level 2 if you can. If you can't, go on a hunt to get prestige and a feast if you need to. This should give you enough prestige. Once you have level 2 authority, tyrannically revoke a duchy from the Duke of Mercia. This will, hopefully, trigger a civil war, which these Anglo-Saxon nobles have no chance of standing up to. Call in all your allies, which is free since tyranny wars are defensive, and simply win. Once you have won, revoke every Dutch title from your Anglo-Saxon vassals. Now you control all the duchy tier titles of England. Go ahead and give out your domain now. Keep everything in Essex and Kent, giving the rest out, including duchies, to Normans. You'll still have Anglo-Saxon lords at the count level, but they'll be underneath Norman dukes, so it's no longer your problem. As well, move your capital to London and give out Alençon and Normandy to any Norman down there. Doesn't really matter who. Just beware, do not click the English culture decision button yet. It's important to let some time pass, since in my experience if you click it the moment it pops up, for whatever reason, it doesn't culturally convert into counties. So, while we're waiting for that bug to sort itself out, let's go push our France claim. It's time for William's Proto-Angevin Empire. Fighting the King of France will be extremely easy since William still has his special soldiers, and Philippe over in France is disliked by his vassals as well as not being particularly talented. Head into Beaumont and then into Ile-de-France while taking battles against the meager French army wherever possible. Our allies are unnecessary, so I didn't call them in, but maybe you will if you're not his PogChamp. The only thing to think about is that France's vassals will likely be just a little bit upset to accept us as their new rulers, but this actually works in our favor. We want the French vassals to rise up so we can revoke their titles without tyranny. In my case, a pretty huge contingent of French vassals rose up, and even with my vassals I was only able to get a white piece. That was fine though, because afterwards another rebellion came up, and this one was quite weak. It was a populist rebellion with vassal support, but remember that during popular rebellions, if you kill all the populists, you win, no matter what else is going on. So in this case, only 700 populists rose up. I simply fought them with 3,000 levies, and immediately imprisoned a bunch of vassals. That isn't broken at all. Either way, revoke everything from every vassal that rose up, and replace them with English vassals. At this point, I also noticed that I was running out of time on William's lifespan. I checked out my kids and noticed that Richard died in battle way back in the beginning of the game. I hadn't noticed till now. I still have Robert Curthose and William the Red. I preferred William the Red, both gameplay-wise and history-wise, so I disinherited Robert Curthose. Now the whole realm is being inherited by William, who is actually quite competent. Succession is now pretty secure. I went ahead and got William married too, choosing to prioritize genetic traits and skills over alliances. From here on, it's time to focus on the domain and keep the realm stable for a safe transition to William the Red's reign. I like to focus on economic buildings first, then military buildings, which are huge emphasis on trade ports, farms and fields, and manor houses when available. Military-wise, since we're playing England, we use longbowmen. I want to build lots of military camps to stack up bonuses on archers. I also like barracks, since heavy footmen are really good too. For duchy buildings, if you want to go hard on men-at-arms bonuses, get hunting grounds. If you just want to be flexible, get tax officers for money. Money is flexibility at the end of the day. Before long, years of building the domain and political stability proved too boring for William the illustrious conqueror. He gave up the ghost at 60 years old, dying of gout apparently. Side note, why is gout so random? I only feasted like twice for William's entire lifetime, and he was athletic and did many hunts. Where did the gout come from? Is it because I maxed out food in my grandeur settings? Whatever. Point is, I get gout way too often. Either way, William Rufus II now rules England and France. His reign looks like it'll be prosperous and stable as he controls the rich domain of Essex and Kent. His goals will likely be to remove some French vassals from power and perhaps subjugate Brittany and the Welsh. He may even seek to put his family on Scotland's throne. Maybe he'll focus on thwarting the Holy Roman Empire. Maybe the whole realm will collapse under the Anglo-French tensions put in place by his father. We'll never know. Well, okay, we'll know once I put on the sequel to this video, but don't worry about that. I'm trying to set up some suspense here, please. Either way, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this GigaChad guide to playing William the Conqueror in CK3. I'll make a video about William the Rufus' rule too, if this video gets
12.589 likes.
Just for some transparency, by the way, I'm planning to make this sort of thing more of a higher quantity over quality sort of video. I don't normally do this sort of thing, so it's not exactly my wheelhouse. Either way, I'd be interested to see what y'all in the audience think about it. I like high effort, long form content, but I want to step into some shorter form content with these little GigaChad guides. I also create little demonstrations of fun starts for CK3. If these sorts of videos aren't your thing, please do let me know by being vocal. I won't be offended. Okay, I might be offended, but like, who cares? Also, we'll see how I feel about making these. Might be the case that I don't enjoy making them and I just go back to only making long form content. Either way, it's important to note that I will not be stopping the long form content no matter what I choose, so don't worry about that. I put in like maybe 8 or 9 hours of work in this video, so it's pretty low cost investment for me and therefore won't interfere with more important projects. Finally, that like request from Ludi is a meme. You don't have to give likes for me to continue this playthrough and make another episode. Thank you for your time.